trademarked term that I came up with because
All
we
right.
had a lot of perennials that bloom all summer long. They weren't rebloomers, they were constant bloomers. And so that's what a perpetual is. If you're looking for something that blooms all summer long and comes back every single year, the perpetuals are the ones for you. And these Veronicas rock. If you want this saturated color, oh my goodness, it's not just Moody blue, it could be Moody pink. So.
And this is exactly what we're going to receive.
This
Four
is what
pieces,
you get.
correct?
Exactly. You get 2 of the blues and 2 of the deep saturated cranberry pinks here. And great foliage on these, and they never ever stop blooming. The deer don't get in them. You don't have to deadhead them, and you don't have to pinch them. You don't have to do any of that mess that you don't want to do.
Well, or know how to do as a
Right.
beginning
Well, that's
grower.
true.
This is something that would be right up my alley. And I love the unique shape of the flowers, of the blooms. It's a little something different in the garden.
They look like salvia blossoms, but they're thicker. And they're more compact. The butterflies and the hummingbirds are wild about these, but these are candles. And this is what we call the blooms. These are the candles coming up. You can see how beautiful they look. They're like the stained glass colors. So these come back every single year. They never stop blooming. You get 2 of the pink and you get 2 of the blue in this collection. And great cut flowers, by the way. I cut these and bring them in all the time. And don't be afraid that you're going to cut them all off. They just keep making new blossoms.
So how tall will these get, Philip, and how wide are they going to spread out?
In my own garden, my own experience, they got about 20 inches tall and they got
Okay.
about 20 inches wide. And that's what they do. And they're nice and tidy. They require no staking. Just things that when they start to get over 2 feet tall, that's when you start needing to stake things.
Too much work.
Too much work, exactly. But these behave. If you like the look of salvias, this is a great one for you because this Veronica comes back every year. You don't have to replant it, and because the foliage goes all the way down to the ground, you can plant it in the edge of pathways without it looking leggy.
Now, where would you suggest I plant this? What are some good areas?
The more sun these get, the happier they're going to be.
Okay.
And I have got mine planted in the edges of my pathways, and I've got my sedum plants, which we got
coming up later.
We got beautiful
Yeah.
sedums coming up later, and I planted those. I alternated those in the paths because I wanted something to bring in the butterflies and the hummingbirds.
This will attract them.
Yes,
Oh, very
like
nice.
crazy.
All right, now when these
So-
arrive, this is actually what you're going to see.
It's not a little bitty plant. This is a big plant right here, and this is one of 4 that you'll be receiving. So this is already nicely rooted, and I always untangle the roots before I plant it, and it will go to town and plant these about 2 feet apart for a solid effect.
Well, remember, we started the season with about 3,000 of our Moody Blues Veronica collection. We're down to the last 900
Oh,
for
goodness.
the season.
Okay.
And the season actually starting a little late this year, right, Philip?
Exactly, and we were talking about it before the show started, is that spring is happening, boom, very quickly everywhere and all at once, which means the garden centers are going to be absolutely overrun. And I can't stand waiting in lines. I'm really impatient, and I don't like picking over things that people have already pawed through.
Well, the crumbs on the table, I like to call
I
it.
don't want the crumbs. I want the main entree that came just for me, which is what these will be when they come from Cottage Farms directly to your doorstep. You're not waiting in line anywhere. You're not having to save your receipts, and they're guaranteed. These perpetual perennials are guaranteed for a full year.
Right, you're getting premium plants when you
Yes.
purchase from Cottage Farms. These have that Cottage Farms guarantee, and look at what these plants,
Yeah.
something different from what maybe your neighbors have, others in the neighborhood. I love the color story here as well,
Yeah.
and I could use some color in my garden. My home is really just a sea of green. Green bushes, green grass,
Yeah.
lots of green. So I need to add a little color in somewhere.
This gives color, but it also gives personality to the garden because the other things like the butterflies and the hummingbirds will come in. And this is a gorgeous representation of what you can have in your garden for years and years to come. At 20 inches tall, they're also perfect companions for your daylilies. And I do mix mine in with daylilies as well. It's great in the perennial border, or if you've got a mixed border that has annuals in it, you can mix it in there. Or as I've done here today, this is just in a pot. This is one.
Now you mentioned daylilies. If you are looking for a daylily selection, stick around. We've got some other great varieties, and these will mix and match. I love your ideas and your tips, because this is what Philip does. He creates gorgeous gardens for a very high-end clientele, very demanding clientele. And so he's taken all of the tricks he's learned through the years and sharing them with us so that we can have a designer garden.
Well, and I love that, because the more unusual plants that I bring to my clients that are easy to take care of, that deliver, the less complaints I get. I don't want them calling me and saying, hey, this looks terrible. I don't want to hear that at all. These are gorgeous flowers, and it's not just about finding something that's beautiful and colorful. It's finding something that absolutely works. These plants work. A perpetual never stops blooming, which is what this collection is all about.
Well, we started with 3,000 this season, only 700 sets to go around for the rest of the season. And how long, Philip, from the time we get our plants, as you see in the photo, to what we see in the background, the full, mature growth of these plants?
Yours will bloom like crazy this year. What I'm showing you here, look at the beautiful colors. I mean, they're just great to cut and bring inside. So think about that. Even if you're cutting your sun patience to mix in the arrangements, they're great for that. But the container plants, this is what one plant looks like the second season.
Okay, very good.
It's very, very quick to come along, and you'll see Veronicas out there. You don't see the Moody Blues very often, and I like them.
And these are perpetuals. Again, for those that might be saying, wait, a perpetual? What exactly is a perpetual?
They never stop blooming. It's not a rebloomer. It is constant bloom on a perennial plant. This will rock your garden. You don't have to plant annuals all the time. You just have to get the perpetuals.
Well, we've got this great one, the Moody Blues Veronica. M46321 is your item number. And Philip, you mentioned the sedums. Those are coming up a little bit later in this show.
There they are.